All right. Hola. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? That is all I got for you. That is the length of my Spanish. But dale! There it is. All right. Well, good morning. I see the energy is kind of low. Morale is kind of dragging a little bit. That's one of the things that kind of bothers me. Not that you guys are tired, and you guys don't bother me. I love you all. But if we can, just for a brief second, everybody just stand up, right? Everybody just stand up. All right. As we're doing this, all right, we're stretching out. We're excited. All right, here we go. All right, now I just need one faithful soul to get us motivated. Can we get that? Just one good time, one faithful soul. I see somebody that wants to do it. Go ahead, Hudson. Lead us. Break it down for us. You got it. This is your time. Are you motivated? You let her ask them.
All right. Are we ready, guys?
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. All right, now you got to ask them. You're like, are you motivated?
Are you motivated?
Yeah. Motivated, downright dedicated. You check us out. You check us out. Woo!
Okay. All right, it's just Tuesday. We'll be there. It is Tuesday, right? Yeah. It is Tuesday. All right, we got have a seat. We'll have a seat. All right. It's just Tuesday. It's just Tuesday. Not yet. All right. All right, so I have the privilege of talking about the brutal facts. If you turn on your page to brutal facts and envision training versus teaching, you'll see a bunch of stats and numbers. Before you look at that page, let me talk to you a little bit about stats. So it was once a time in my life, I was coaching basketball at a community college, and the primary part of my job was statistics. Like, that was it. I live for statistics. Let me tell you why. Tim Cook, Bill Gates, some of the greatest, businessmen, billionaires, they depend on statistics to give them a picture of what they need to better focus on. I'm not necessarily a businessman, so that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I am a huge sports fan. Anybody else like sports? All right, goodness, we're going to get there. So Peyton Manning, does that name ring a bell to anybody? Peyton Manning? Never heard of him. So Peyton Manning is probably the greatest quarterback of all time. And Peyton Manning used statistics to say, hey, every time I throw the ball to this side of the field, I'm getting picked off. And somebody told him that statistic. He changed his game up and he started throwing to another side. Pretty cool. He knew he didn't need to focus there. He needed to focus here. The greatest basketball player of all time, Kobe Bean Bryant. We'll talk about that one later. Kobe hired a guy named Mike Procopio. Nobody probably knows who he is. If you do, I greatly appreciate that. This guy's a statistician. He put together a binder about that thick for Kobe to tell him, hey, teams are doing this to you, so you need to do that. And that all those stats he gathered, they helped him to focus on a specific area of his game. So not necessarily, he didn't stop completely doing something, but he just refined his focus. So the stats I give you today, I don't want you to just say, all right, more things I gotta know, more statistics. I want to help you focus on something. I want to help us to better refine our area of focus, if that makes sense. So these are out of order. Whoever made this sheet, they did a pretty terrible job. And I'll make sure I talk to them after this. It is. I'll get there. All right. But if we look at this, we see so many different. It was me who made this sheet, guys. All right. It was me. And so as we look at this, there's some really good stuff at that front part. But things I want to highlight for you right off the bat. 98% of Christians don't share their faith. That is life-crushing. That hurts my soul to think about that. I am so happy to see that in this room we're part of the 2%. You know, we're 2%ers.
Woo! 2%.
Yeah. Hey, we're 2%ers.
I drink that milk.
Hey. And so our goal as 2%ers is to do what?
Reach.
Absolutely, get the 4%. And so, just to kind of break down the people that you're going to be talking to, we went over this a couple in December, and this really helped me refine our focus for our home group going into this semester. I saw that for me, I'm such a linear thinking guy. I was just like, the population of NC State is about 34,000, and you know what I said? All right. I look at that number and I'm like, God, there's no way I'm going to reach 34,000 people. There's no way my home group of about 10 is going to reach 34,000 people in a matter of a semester. Like, I think it's really hard for us to talk to that many people. And, you know, I was really discouraged about that. But then, you know, as we started focusing on certain areas, God, you know, really showed us this is where you are. This is your focus area. And George Barna, he figured out that 8 out of the 10 people that you speak to are open to hearing the gospel. All right, so about 80% of the people you speak to, they're open to hearing the gospel. I think we've seen that to be true in several areas. That 7 out of 10 people are willing to even meet back up with you and study the Bible. Man, I think that's pretty cool to think about that. Back in the 50s and 60s, I got a chance to talk to a church Wednesday. And they were and many of them, they grew up in that time, the 50s and the 60s, and they knew, amen to this, that back in those times, about 4% of people, regardless of whatever it was, they're not going to church at all. You know, it just doesn't matter. They're not coming to church. Right now, in our generation, that number is about 60%. Of the people we talk to, you can invite them to Pursuit Church on Sunday. They're just not coming. You can have Hillsong, Lecrae, free pizzas, fog machines, and smoke screens, and all of that. They're just not coming. It's just not their thing. And when we see that, we understand that we got to redefine what we think church is. And we'll talk about that later on in the week. Bert talked about that last night, that church isn't necessarily this beautiful building, but it's the people in the building. And so we got to take church to them. And so we'll talk about refining that more this week. Can somebody read Ecclesiastes 3:11 for me?
He has made everything appropriate in its time. He has also set eternity in their heart, yet so that man will not find out the work which God has done from the beginning even to the end.
Something I definitely found to be true, that we all think about where we're going to spend eternity at. Hopefully, when we think about eternity in this room, we put a smile on our faces. But something we've seen is that 3 out of the 10 people we speak to, that they're thinking about eternity. They have lost a cousin, a family member, a friend, and they're wondering where they're spending eternity, and they're also wondering where they're going to spend eternity themselves. And so as we think through that, we see that God has placed eternity on the hearts of man. God, it's written in the Bible there. God has placed eternity on the hearts of man. Some people don't have a good perspective on where they're going to spend eternity. And, you know, that's where we come in. So as we talk about the rest of this week, this is not a bunch of, like, teachings. Teachings are, you know, if I got up here and I preached this sermon, I don't think that'd be really good right now. But these are necessarily trainings. These are trainings. We want to train you so you can go back and share these very same numbers. We want you to share these very same things. We want you to share God's heart with other people. Because as 2%ers, we're calling you to go out and train people as well. So as we look at this, one thing in our home group we did this semester, is we focused on the 470. And so Winter and Ben, they're a part of the Root Church. Woo! I love y'all. I really do. So a part of the Root Church, what we did, we focused on the 470, and it is 470 students in Woodhall. You guys probably don't know where Woodhall is, and you probably never see it, but it is a dorm on NC State's campus, right? That is our area of focus. And 376 of those people are open. They're open to hearing the gospel. So they were ready to hear it. And we saw that 329, they were willing to meet back up and study the Bible. Now, this is just the brutal facts I'm breaking it down to. And I'll give you guys a chance to break down that as well for your specific areas later. And we were encouraged to know that 141 are thinking about eternity. So I'm a whole lot confident that 10 people were going to go after 470 people strong. Or better yet, the people that are open and willing to hear the gospel, the 80%, the 376. When we thought about that, we broke that down as a home group. We didn't get close to sharing the gospel 376 times, but we did share the gospel over 200 times. And we were able to say, hey, this is what we're going after. We're going after the people who are open. They're open to hearing it. And in your sheet, you have a area to do that. You have the ability to do that. I wasn't going to give you guys time now, but as you guys think through the summer, and I know here in Orlando, you guys are doing home groups and stuff like that. So when you guys figure out your area of focus, being able to figure out how many students are living here, all of that information is totally online. But we think about the teaching part, going back to teaching versus training, if I can back up some. If I teach, Christian, you stand up for me? Me out here. Step over here for me. All right. Give me your hand for it. All right. So Christian is gonna do me a favor. All right. So
I'm gonna do him a favor.
Christian is going to teach in the matter of 10 seconds, and he's going to try to reach the entire room. Now his teaching won't be him standing here. He's going to high five people, right? And once he gives them a high five, once he gives you a high five, just stand. Don't touch anybody else. Just stand. Please. All right. Don't touch anybody else, just stand. All right, you got 10 seconds to reach the entire room. And you guys, some of y'all put your, I mean, that might be reflective of it. You know, some people are really open to hearing the gospel. Some people, so hey, in that case, somebody need to put their hand, 20% of y'all need to put your hands in your pocket. And I can't figure that out right now, so don't worry about it.
Y'all all haters.
Yeah. All right, so Christian has 10 seconds to reach the entire room by teaching. All right, let me get my counter ready. All right, ready and go. And stop. All right, if you were touched by Christian, stand up.
I do this.
All right, 11.
Double digits.
So, you guys can have a seat. It's really cool. You reached 11 by teaching. Reaching is reaching, so we praise the Lord for that, right? All right, so this time, you're going to do a little different. You're going to train them, all right? So, you know, we talked about in 1 Peter 2:9 that we're the priesthood of believers, so we're all going to go out, and once you train them, they're going to go and start training as well. So, let me be strategic about this. How about you just touch one person at each table and keep going? And just make them focus on their own table. That works. You got 10 seconds to get this done.
I have a question.
You guys touch the people at your table first, and then keep going. All right. Yeah. So we're going to try to reach the whole room in 10 seconds. All right. Any other questions? So, yeah. And I'll tell you guys, if you got touched by anyone, you'll stand up.
Is it just the people that Christian touches?
No, once you get touched, you touch someone else.
Okay.
So, all right, here we go. You got any other questions? You guys, any other questions? I don't want y'all to. All right, here we go. Ready? Go. And stop.
But you've been touched. I'm getting touched.
My goodness, we reached the almost. Nope. Mark Ross. Mark's part of 20. Mark is part of the 20%. That's why we reached this table, so they can focus on him. Absolutely. Hey, so praise the Lord. Everybody was reached in 10 seconds. Burke said something last night about Paul. Paul reached 10 to 15 million in a very, very short span. We have 10 weeks to go after, obviously 10 weeks or 26 days, depending on where you're at, to go after a certain group. And if we stand up and we teach a large crowd, I think we'll see something. But if we're focused on training others to go and train others, I think we will reach a whole lot more than we ever imagined. So definitely one thing I really want to leave us with is you have not because you ask not. And are you asking God for your area? Are you asking God for your place? Are you asking God for Orlando, for Charlotte, for San Pedro? Are you asking God for them? I mean, really taking that time to beg God, Lord, give us these people. Give us houses of peace. We want to make sure we focus on the 80% that are open. And not that you don't waste your time. You're not wasting your time by talking to somebody who ain't really open to hearing it. But you want to focus on the 80 so they can go and train. And they'll focus on that 20. That 20% there. They'll help you focus on the 20. So if we can just kind of pray with your table, really asking God for your area. Really just, God, we beg you that you give us this place. Lord, that there will be nobody that doesn't hear. And I'll close this out.